Hey everyone, what's poppin'? What's tea? It's your girl Spicy Niche. Happy New Year to you guys. I know it's been a little minute. There hasn't really been much to review, but I'm here. We here. So let's just get straight into it. So today, obviously by the title, I'm reviewing War, Wrath, and Revenge. Now this debuted on Netflix, I want to say probably about 3 weeks ago, and there's been so much going on every time I try to record this video. But let's just get into it. Wrath and Revenge. Rather than give an overall synopsis, I'm gonna give an episode by episode synopsis because I just feel like the whole thing was super overwhelming to where I can't really summarize the whole thing. So I'm going to give probably about 3 episodes. I don't want to drag it and just be explaining the whole thing to you guys. So you guys definitely go and watch it if you want to know what the other episodes were about. So episode 1 is where we are introduced to Sanusi, Nuhu, Binta, who is his wife, Kama, who owns an airline, and Booba. So in this episode, what a part of their village is attacked. I can't remember the name of the village that they're in, but a part of it is attacked, and it's attacked because Sanusi, who is the current governor, knows that there are resources in that particular area of the village. I think it's diamonds or something, and he wants the land for himself. Now Nuhu, who is his opponent, finds this out and is trying to basically protect the land and wants to actually use it as an opportunity to give the people who are basically in poverty jobs and opportunities. Then we're also introduced to Kama. Like I said, Kama owns Kama Airlines and she's dating this guy named Booba. In this first episode, like I said, we don't really know why this matters or know who these people are, but Booba's uncle is actually on a flight from Kama's airline, and that airline ends up crashing. So that's basically the first episode. It's just like I said, it was kind of overwhelming to be introduced to so many characters and storylines and not really understanding why any of this matters. So, in this second episode, we then see Sanusi cooking up a plan with his minion, the same minion that attacked the village, to find this guy named Diko, who has the information that can take Nuhu down, his opponent. Now, at this point, we don't really know the significance of Diko, but we later find out that Binta, Nuhu's wife, tried to kill Diko, or thought she had killed Diko because they had a burial for him and everything. But he actually had faked his death, and Sanusi is the one who kind of digs him up and wants him to come and, give him the info that can be used against Nuhu. Now, as I said, Khalifa, who is Booba's uncle, died in a plane crash with Kama Airlines. So of course people go to protest Kama Airlines and want them to be held responsible for his death. And that's basically episode 2. The short and sweet of it, honestly. Now I'm going to fast forward to episode 6 or so, just so we can kind of wrap up the synopsis. So throughout the film, you will notice that Booba, you would think he's one of the good guys, but then what ends up happening is Booba is actually the one who sabotaged the plane that his uncle Khalifa was on, because his uncle Khalifa has one like chieftaincy, one title, I can't remember the name of it, and he wanted that position. And he also still wants Kama to marry him, but then ends up kidnapping her. Yeah, so it's a lot going on in this series. So that's basically a little grain of the series. You guys can go ahead and watch it, but I'm gonna get right into my movie rating criteria. The first category is gonna be plot and storyline. I'm definitely gonna give them a 0.4 out of 1, and I'm gonna tell you why. Before you fight me, I'm gonna tell you why. Um, I, I personally feel like this could have been better put together. Now, I do want to take into consideration that I understand when Netflix does these deals, sometimes your series might be 10 episodes, but Netflix is like, we're cutting you a deal for 6 episodes. So sometimes they have to kind of consolidate everything. But I really want them to understand that being that this is a continuation of something previously and that previous thing is not available to us on Netflix, you have to do a much better job of telling the story and making it make sense for people who have not seen that previous film and can't even watch it because it's not even on Netflix. Like, I just feel like they could have even like done a, oh, on that show, da, 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 like giving us a background of what happened on that show and then like fast forward us to present day. So then we can at least see like some of the connections that could have been made. But for all them to just throw all of this at us in one episode, and even that episode one could have been told better. I think it was just too many characters that were like the storylines weren't relevant. I wish they would have like told Nuhu and Binta's story in like the first episode, like dedicated that episode to them, then told Kama and Booba's story in like the second or third episode. So that way we could make it make sense. But it's just like everything was kind of just thrown at us in one episode. And I'm like, I was confused the first two episodes until like the third or fourth episode is when I was like, oh, but that's the kind of thing that makes people stop watching a series. If you're confused the first episode, you're confused the second episode. It's like, do I want to spend another hour of my life on the third episode? But you know, I have to do it because I got to do these reviews. My friend ended up just fast forwarding through the series, like skipping through and still kind of getting what the storyline was. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. I think the plot and storyline deserves a zero point 0.4 out of 1. Now for the second category, acting and performances, I want to give them a zero point 0.8 out of 1 because although the storyline was not told the best, I do feel like the people like acted their roles very well. Especially Rahama. Now, I haven't seen Rahama in anything other than The Men's Club, and all these other actors were new actors to me, except for Deko's dad. He's an OG. I can't even remember his name right now, but all the other actors I had never seen. But yeah, I feel like they did a good job acting in the role that was given to them. It is not their fault that the storyline was like so that's all I have to say about the acting and performances of this show. Now I'm gonna skip to the third category, which is cinematography. I give them a 1 out of 1 star for cinematography. I feel like they did a really good job in cinematography. Can we agree it was clear? The audio was good because you know I'd be on it with the audio and the clips and the scenes, but I feel like the audio was good, the cinematography was good, so I'm gonna give them a 1 out of 1 star there. Now my fourth category is entertainment value and engagement. I'm kind of indifferent about this one because I feel like they did too much trying to keep us engaged, if you know what I mean. I feel like every single episode they were trying to be extra with giving us a cliffhanger to keep us engaged. And you know, I feel like doing the most when they should have done the least is what I want to say about this series. Not that they should have done the least, but like sometimes like in an effort to make a show really really engaging, you did too much. And for me it was just like, okay, this episode we're finding out Diko is not dead, but Binta was supposed to kill him. And then in this episode we're finding out that Booba is the one who set up the whole thing. And then in this episode we're finding out that Nafisa, who was supposed to be Binta's friend, is the one who kept the fact that Diko was not in was still alive away from her. And like it's too much. It's too much. I mean, I get it. They wanted to keep us engaged, but I feel like they overdid it. And so for that, I'm gonna give them a zero point 0.7 out of 1 star for this category because I it was just too much when they should have focused more on really telling a good story. But again, like I said, I don't know what their deal was with Netflix. Maybe this was supposed to be longer than it was, but when they signed the contract, they could only do 6 episodes. I don't know. But that's just my opinion. And so the fifth category is theme and message. Is there really theme and message in this film? Is there really? I think this is the first film that I'm like, okay, so what was the message? Because like political Nollywood films have been around since 19 Brigade since. So I'm like, this wasn't like a new storyline. This was just like them trying to put a twist on an old story that's been told. But like, I mean, I don't know. Like, what can we say? What can we say? What can we say? Everything is not as it seems. Everything's not as it seems because I thought Boo Boo was a good guy and then he wasn't, and then we thought Binta was being a good wife, but then she wasn't. So I'm like, is that the storyline? Everything is not as it seems because it's like again, like I said, they were so worried about keeping people engaged that they took away from actually like I think having a theme and message or telling a proper story. And so for that, I feel like I give them a 0.5 out of 1 star. Like, what was the theme? What was the like? Well, there was a theme. What was the message? So I'll give them 5 points for having a theme, but I'm reducing the other 5 points for not having a message. Like, I don't know what we were supposed to take away from this film. Seriously, like I want people to tell me what did they take away from this film as a theme and message because I can't even tell you. That's just me. So finally, I would give this film a 3.4 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I feel like it should be rated lower than that, but that's why I have my criteria so I can be fair when I'm doing the rating and not just rating it what I think in my head. But yeah, 3.4 out of 5 simply because like the series is continuing from I didn't see that on Netflix to be able to make those connections, and even if it is on Netflix, even though I didn't see it in the US Netflix, they should have done a synopsis of what happened previously so we can kind of be up to speed. But for those who are just joining the series, we were kind of like, what is this? How does this relate to anything? And it was just kind of all over the place. And even though it is a continuation, they could have told the story a lot better. And like I said, made Bintu and Nuhu's story one episode, one full episode of just about them, and then introduced Kama and Booba's storyline because it was too many storylines at one time in one episode, and it was just hard to follow overall. But nonetheless, Skinny Girl in Transit is coming back. I'm really excited for that. There was another new film that debuted on Netflix. It starts with an A, but I will have to watch that, and if it's worth reviewing, I will review it. But definitely tune in to Skinny Girl in Transit. It's coming out next week, and I will see you guys in my next video.
My friend, you can't put something like this on the internet. What is this? Yes, it's the remote deeper life. You carry microphone. What are you shooting? What is this? Ah, I suffered. Is that the name of the video?